So this is it. Force per unit volume we are finding out. Okay. Formula for force is equal to I dl cross B. So if I have some current flowing inside some place in small element which has area dA of cross section, from here the current is flowing which is equal to I, and length of this element is dl, then what will be the volume of this part? Volume of this part will be equal to area into dA into let me write it as A only. I could write dA dl also, that is not a problem, but okay, I'm writing A. Then it's becoming A into dl. That is the volume. So I'm dividing the force and I'm dividing it by volume. That is force acting per unit volume, which is coming out to be equal to I dl cross B upon A dl. A dl is nothing but volume. So volume can cancel both sides. Then I think it is wrong here. This should be written dl only, I think so. No. Wait. What have I done here? I have divided by volume, correct. I upon area I can write as J. Can I write I upon area as J or not?
Yes, sir. Again, DL bar, you can write then D J gap only now. J bar only for that.
Let me write it in, and then I can write I upon area is J, and J into DL bar divided by DL will become DL cap. But DL cap is in the direction of J only, so I can write that total J cap cross
J bar cross B bar.
B. J bar cross B. Why? Because DL vector divided by DL is equal to unit vector along DL, which is also J cap, because J cap is also that vector only. Here J cap does not mean along y axis. What does this J cap means? A current unit current vector pointing unit vector which is pointing in the direction of flow of current. It is J cap is unit current density vector. We can say unit current density vector. Then we know what is the force density. Force density we are getting. After getting force density, we can write force per unit area, also pressure. What would be the pressure? If I want to find pressure here, can we get? I think to get pressure area into DL, it is if I take DL that side, if I multiply this by DL, then I will be getting pressure, it seems. Multiplying this by DL. Pressure on what? Pressure doesn't make sense much here for this case. Why? Because it is in volumetric form, so pressure doesn't make sense. Because pressure, when we are saying pressure, then pressure we should be clear pressure acting on which area. So here it is not making that much sense here. So let us not find pressure here. Here force density is enough. We have obtained something useful, and that is what is the force acting per unit volume. If somebody asks you, you can say force acting per unit volume is equal to this. If somebody asks you what is the net force acting, net force will be nothing but J cross B. Don't worry, we don't have to integrate. There will be hardly such situations where we really have to integrate. But if something like that happens, then you can integrate also, not a difficult task. One thing we can also do here, this will be J will be current density and B will be external magnetic field. For example, if I take variable current density, let us say J is varying as J is equal to J naught into R in the cylinder, right? And external magnetic field is B. External I'm talking about, not internal. External. That is uniform magnetic field externally applied here somehow, and that is equal to B. What will be force acting on this? So in order to get this answer now, I can safely use this formula, and notice J is upwards, B is this side. They are mutually perpendicular, so I can just replace it by J naught into R into B into dV integral. dV will be what? Which volume I have to take here? Volume element. So volume element will be equal to 2 pi R into dr into L, if L is the length, means cylindrical shell element. That is the volume. What is J value? J is equal to J naught into R. What is B value? That is B only. So J naught into R into B into 2 pi R dr into L integral. That will give us the net force in this. Okay. We can use it if we want. and that is not a big issue. Or we can use our own formula also, this old formula, I dl cross b. If I want to use this, only one thing I have to take care here, I is only referring to the we can we use total also? I think we can use total also in this case. Nothing goes wrong. Why? Because b is constant. If b is variable, then there will be problem. If b is constant, I can take b outside the integral. If I take b outside the integral, then what do I get? I get just j into dv inside. If I get j into dv inside, that is nothing but I into dl. So in this case, I can directly write I dl cross b without having to worry about all the internal details if b is constant in this. Okay. Anyway, so next one is pressure. Pressure will be making sense when we are having discussion of some plates which are carrying current and they are having current for in length as k. So let us say this plate has very small thickness and the small thickness is t. If the small thickness is t, then what is the force acting on this? I can use the last formula again. Force acting will be equal to j cross b into volume, right or not?
Yes,
That
sir.
will be force or force density, let us say. Force density will be upon volume. But what would be volume here? Volume will be thickness into
A into T.
Yes, into it.
thickness into width into length.
Yes.
Thickness into L into B. That is equal to volume. So I can see that net force upon volume, if it is uniform acting everywhere, then I can write it as net force upon net volume also. That will be equal to J. But J can be written as current per unit area, I upon T into B. That is J. And what is K? K is equal to current upon width. Current is this side, so current per unit width, right? Then what is the relation between J and that? I can write K by T is equal to J. K by T into B.
Sir, K means
I can say this.
So what is like
K is current.
K is K, I by T, no, sir. Perpendicular.
K is current per unit length only.
Yes, sir. K, when we are taking perpendicular distance, we have to take the T, na, sir. We will take D elements in B.
How we should? Why? Wait a second. Current per unit this width, it is K. This is a long sheet, which is there is no thickness. Let us say it is just a plain area. This side dimension we don't even see when we are discussing the current per unit length. This dimension is negligible. T tends to 0. That's why we are not taking it like a volumetric element. But I'm saying that even if we have a very, very thin paper sheet also, in that paper sheet also some thickness will be there or not.
So will be sir.
So why I'm interested in bringing this thickness into picture when there is no such thickness? Why I'm bringing this thickness? So that I can relate it with J and I can use the same formula only. I don't have to rederive it again for K separately. That's why I'm doing this. In reality, the discussion goes like this for these thin sheets. There is no thickness given, nothing is given. Just K is the current flowing per unit length. Now you tell me what will be current flowing per unit length if I say it is K. I think it will be stupid to say that it is current flowing per unit the thickness which is not even given to us. Obviously, when they say current per unit length, it is this is B here, this is B, and it is current per unit perpendicular length. That is B only. B is also perpendicular to this or not? 90 degrees.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Don't take this thickness. This doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, but why we are bringing it into picture? So that I can use the same formula which I derived before. Otherwise, I will have to rederive it again. I can derive that also. Rederiving it without considering thickness, we can do that. But why should we waste time? It will be good if we do directly by this method only. J cross B upon K by T cross B. Then that is df by dv, let us say. But I want dv to be written as df by dA into thickness. Now you can understand which area we are talking about here. Thickness I am considering as T. So if I take some small area, other side dA into thickness, that will be the volume. You understand? dA is this area of the sheet. dA is well defined here. Thickness is not defined, not given. But this is given because we want to find force per unit acting on this total area, on this sheet area. What do we get then? We get it equal to K.
Sir,
Wait, boys. I will call.
So I don't know you saw this or not. This is force, ideal cross B. This is force density, and this is pressure. All are in same form. Always B is at last. First it is ideal cross B, then J cross B, then K cross B. It is easy to remember. Can you remember these?
yes, sir.
Force, force density, force per unit volume, and this is pressure. Easy. Dimensionally also we can check which one will have which formula, and it is not difficult to remember because this is just cross B, cross B, cross B every time. One time ideal cross B, second time J cross B, third time K cross B. Again, B is the external field here. B is the external field. If I take total field also into account, I think we will not get wrong answer. But if external field is given, we can consider based on that only. If total is also, we use this formula for total field, then also there will be no problem, I think so, because internal, the force acting on it due to internal field will become zero only. Due to internal field, even if we use it, then there will be no problem. I can take it as net B, or I can take it as external B. Both should give us same result. Let's say there's a sheet carrying current K. One side magnetic field is B1, and other side it is B2. Can you find out what is the pressure acting on this sheet, which is carrying current per unit length as K? Current is in YZ plane, so I'm just looking at a line here, but it is complete YZ plane, and magnetic field is making such angles with those planes, B1, B2, and maybe alpha, beta. What is the pressure acting on it, or what is the force acting on this if area is given? I told you formula is P1 square by 2 mu naught multiplied by this is pressure, and other is B2 square by 2 mu naught. I can take the difference. I will be getting answer from that. But we can also use this formula which we have used before. Which field we will be taking now?
Perpendicular field.
How to tell what is the external field? Perpendicular is right.
Sine beta, sine alpha. B2 sine beta plus B1 sine alpha.
What will be the relation between these fields? That also we can determine how, because we know if it is K upwards, then magnetic field will be in what way it will be acting on it? It will be acting, if K is upwards, then magnetic field will be, I think, in left hand side it will be outwards or not?
Yes, so left side outward and right side is inwards.
Left side field will be outwards, right side field will be inwards. Like this it will be.
That is due
This
to plane sheet, na sir.
due to plane sheet. Yes, right.
Okay, sir.
Due to plane sheet only. If these are the fields here, then I can say that this field here and this field has to be equal. This component has to be equal to that component. V1 cos alpha will be equal to V2 cos beta, I think so. And parallel component will also be same in this case. Parallel component can also not be different. It can be different if I take current pointing not in this way, but if I take the current pointing radially along z axis, let us say, if I do that, then I can achieve the condition that B1 and B2 will be different, but I could not achieve this condition if K is going upwards. Why I can achieve condition that B1 and B2 will be different? Because if the current is outwards, then magnetic field lines around it will be in which way? In this way,
Anti-clockwise.
anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise means here it is upwards. If it is outwards current winding towards z axis, and here it will be downwards. And as a result of these fields in its own fields, when these will superimpose with the external fields, then they may change the component of the fields along parallel to the sheet direction. But perpendicular to the sheet, even then also it will remain same. Parallel to sheet, it may change. You understand that difference, right? Parallel to sheet, we can change the current. So let us first of all, because I have given you this situation, so I think I should have given you that current is maybe flowing outwards. Now I'm asking the same question again. What is the relation between B1 and B2? We can get the relation. How? I know that upward field is B1 cos alpha here, and what is the upward field here? It is B2 cos beta. It is the net field here, B1 cos alpha and B2 cos beta. Why these fields are different? Reason is it has, or I can use Ampere's law. What is Ampere's law stating that? Ampere's law states that V1 cos alpha into L, this is line integral, and dot. So let us say it is L length I have taken here.
Minus B1.
If I have taken L length, B1 will be minus because we are taking a line integral. We have to take along by right hand thumb rule. We should take the line integral according to right hand thumb rule. So if I take according to that, then I will be getting this side. I will take downwards dl, b is upwards, and here dl will be this side, and here dl will be that side, right? And this dl is negligible here. Understand why? I am very close to it. I am very close to the surface, so I don't have to worry about this integral here. This we are neglecting. Means we can say that x is tending to 0. This total width. L is sufficient, but x is tending to 0. Then we can write it as minus b1 cos alpha into L, and other is b2 cos beta into L. This is equal to mu naught into current enclosed, which is equal to K into L. Can I get a relation between those two? B2 cos beta minus B1 cos alpha happens to be equal to mu naught into K. I said that I can get the relation between these two, and see, we have got the relation. We have got a relation between these. Now, what will be a relation along of the perpendicular fields? Perpendicular fields will be same. Those will not change. Okay. In perpendicular direction, the fields have to be same.
Okay.
What goes wrong if in perpendicular direction I don't take same fields? I can use this law, Gauss law of magnetic field. Gauss law of magnetic field says that B dot ds around any closed loop should be always equal to 0. So if entering field is B1 sine alpha, exiting field is B2 sine beta, then by the Gauss law I will be getting B1 sine alpha into area minus B2, which is positive. This is negative, this is positive. Entering is negative. Total flux should be 0 always. Magnetic flux should be 0. Why is it 0? What does flux represent? Flux represents number of magnetic field lines crossing through an area. But when the field lines form closed loop, then what will be the magnetic field lines crossing through this closed surface? Always 0. Whatever is entering, that will also be exiting, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, understand these two important laws here. What is one law? One law is this Gauss law, and the other one is Ampere's law. Gauss law in magnetism, I think I am studying for the first time only. You please understand it. Gauss law in magnetism. It is this. Okay, although I said in before in different way, I said in this way that magnetic field lines will be forming closed loop, and I said also that it cannot happen that magnetic field lines are here, for example, entering different and exiting different. If that happens, then it means it appears that there is a monopole here, which can from in which the magnetic field lines can just terminate. But there are no such monopoles existing, so magnetic field lines cannot terminate anywhere. So this will be continuous only. Or if you are not understanding in that way, you can understand that the magnetic field lines will always be in closed loop, or B dot ds should be 0. If I use that, then I'm getting V1 sin alpha is equal to B2 sin beta. Another relation. V1 sin alpha is equal to B2 sin beta. One relation, second relation. My purpose was actually not to get the relation. My purpose was to find out the force. We will come to that, but I'm just analyzing it thoroughly. Okay. These fields are not independent of each other. Anyway, coming to the force now. So what would be the force contribution due to this B sin alpha, B sin beta? In which direction the force will be acting? K is outwards. This is outwards, and this is in horizontal direction. So can you tell what will be the force? Let us call these forces this as B perpendicular. This is also B perpendicular. The force will be equal to I, or for pressure will be equal to K into B perpendicular. That will be pressure or not? K into B perpendicular. Right?
Yes, sir. K into B perpendicular.
K into B perpendicular. In which direction it will be? K is outwards, K cap, and B perpendicular is I cap, K cross I.
Inward, sir. Inward.
K is outwards.
Okay, sir. Upward,
cross-
sir. Then.
K cross B is in which direction?
Upward, sir.
Upward,
Upward.
upwards. Is it pressure then? It is not pressure. It is, I can say, some force acting, but it is parallel to the plane. We don't call that as pressure. It is some force acting which is parallel to the plane. Right?
Sir, upward means like this, sir. Along plane means by along B1 cos
K
alpha. Sir.
cap cross I cap is equal to what? J cap or not?
J cap, sir.
Yes.
Then how is it not parallel to plane? It is parallel to plane only. This plane is YZ plane. It is this way, upwards, not outwards, it is upwards, but it is parallel to the sheet or not?
That's what I'm saying, sir. Parallelly, but upward, sir.
Okay, right only then. Right, that only. Parallelly, but along Y cap. That is a force. This is one force acting. And what is other force? So we can say F parallel will be equal to, if this area of the sheet is A, on which we are considering the force, then F parallel will be K into B perpendicular into A. What is F perpendicular? F perpendicular will be not because of this component, that will be because of parallel component of external magnetic field. What is that parallel component of external magnetic field? Can you tell?
So B1 cos alpha plus B2 cos beta.
B1 cos alpha plus B2 cos
Beta.
beta divided by 2. That is B parallel, external B parallel. Parallel to sheet. How is it? Neelkanta and others first understand why is it parallel. I am saying it is B per B1 cos alpha plus B2 cos beta by 2. Reason is, see what is a field here. Let us say external field is B parallel. I don't know what that is, but let us say it is B parallel. This side also it is B parallel. Now, what is the internal field? Its own field. Its own field is equal to mu naught K. So in which direction mu naught K is? Left hand side. Left hand side mu naught K is
outwards.
What outwards?
Dot
sorry, means
sir, downwards. Downwards.
Downwards. Left hand side is mu naught into k downwards, and right hand side is mu naught into k upwards. But I know what is sum of these two. What is sum of these two? Sum of these two will become b. What have I written it as? b1 b2 cos beta. And what is sum of these minus difference of these two? Difference of these two will come out to be b1 sine cos
Cos
alpha. Now if I take this plus this, then what I get? I cancel mu naught and mu naught k. But what will be added up? B parallel will become 2 times. Therefore 2 times b parallel. If I add left hand side with right hand side, then on one hand I'm getting b1 cos alpha plus b2 cos beta. On the other hand I'm getting 2 into b parallel. Therefore b parallel becomes
b1 cos alpha plus b2 cos beta by 2.
yes, that's why it becomes b1 cos alpha plus b2 cos beta by 2. That is what it becomes, right? Because b1 cos alpha is equal to this total, and b2 cos beta is equal to this total. What is b parallel meaning here? B parallel is external magnetic field which is parallel to the sheet. It is external, but b1 cos alpha is the total. This given is total value. This total magnetic field, total magnetic field. Then now what will be the force due to b parallel? Due to b parallel, force will be equal to k into b parallel, but it is k cross b. It will be perpendicular to k, and it will be perpendicular to b parallel also. What is direction of k here? Direction of k is
towards us, sir.
direction of k is which direction? Towards
Sir,
us.
given is plane YZ, sir.
YZ. So b parallel is equal to k cap.
K cap.
No, sorry. K is equal to k is along k cap. K vector is along k cap because current is going outwards, so k vector is along k cap, but b parallel is along j cap. B parallel is along j cap. So what is the direction of force then? K cap cross j cap.
Minus
Is it? It is not force. It is not force. It is pressure actually.
Minus I cap.
It is pressure, so it is becoming along minus I cap. What side the force is acting on it? Along minus I cap. So we are getting it as k into b. What is b parallel value, by the way? B parallel we are writing as b1
Cos alpha,
cos alpha plus
b2 cos
b2
beta.
cos beta divided by 2. That is pressure. That is the pressure value. Now, what was the value other side? Force on other side. Other side, the force was equal to k into b perpendicular into area. What will be force on this side? That's right, in terms of force only. Pressure is this, force will be this into area. Can I get the net force then? These forces are perpendicular to each other. This one and this one are perpendicular to each other. Although it is also parallel to sheet only, I think. Is it? No, it is perpendicular to sheet. So what is the net force? The net force will be f perpendicular square plus f parallel square into the root. That is f. Let us find it out. K square a square plus, sorry, not plus, whole into, what is that remaining inside? Inside we are getting b perpendicular square plus b perpendicular square plus b parallel square, right?
Yes. Sir.
And total force on the sheet. Have you seen these both?
Sir.
Have you seen these forces written at that time?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Have seen those.
Yes, sir.
So after that, I'm saying that I could write this f perpendicular in a different way also. What is f perpendicular? F perpendicular can be written as k into b parallel divided by 2 into area. What is k value? K value is equal to, if one side the parallel field is b1 and the other side it is b2, then I told already that the difference of these
Sir,
is giving us
F perpendicular is K P parallel into A, na, sir. F perpendicular is K, B parallel into N, sir, by 2y, sir.
By 2 is not there, huh?
Not there, sir.
Not there. By 2 is not there. I saw by 2 and I wrote it, but it is itself equal to V parallel, right? Only. What is K value, by the way? K value I had written somewhere in terms of magnet, this relation here. K value is equal to B2 cos alpha beta minus B1 cos beta. Let me write that also. B2 cos beta minus B1 cos beta by what?
Mu naught, sir.
What was it?
Mu naught, sir.
By mu
Mu
naught.
naught.
This divided by mu naught into this one was B1 cos beta. Sorry, one is alpha of
Alpha, sir.
alpha it is
B1
here.
cos alpha.
B1 cos alpha plus B2 cos beta divided by 2, that is B parallel, whole into
Yeah.
area, that is equal to F perpendicular. So what is F perpendicular upon area? That is coming out to be pressure, which is equal to B2 square cos square beta minus B1 square cos square alpha divided by 2 mu naught, which I told you yesterday that the pressure will be just this. But here we are more accurate now, because somebody may say that I want to consider the other force, which is, although we don't call this as pressure. Normally, if somebody is asking you pressure, I think we can call pressure only which one is perpendicular to the area, not one which is parallel to the area. Usually we don't refer pressure term to that. But if somebody is asking what is the force parallel to that, then that will be obtained by this K into B perpendicular into area. Okay. K into B perpendicular into area. And if somebody is asking what is the pressure only, or what is the force perpendicular to the plane, then force perpendicular to the plane can be obtained by this way: magnetic energy density on one side minus magnetic energy density on the other side. That is the pressure, and multiply by area. Then that will be giving us perpendicular force acting on the sheet. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And what is this field now? Remember, this field is not just external field; it is total field now. While we are writing this, then it is total field, because we already, I told you before, B2 is B1 and B2 are total fields. B parallel was the external field only. B parallel was just external, but this one was total. This is also total. So if you want to find out the pressure, we can use this formula always, half into, let me write now in this way. In fact, that will be better if I write in this. Parallel to sheet field is B dash one side and B the other side. Parallel to sheet, then it will be B dash square by 2 mu naught minus B square by 2 mu naught. That will be the pressure perpendicular to.
Another 1/2 will not
plane.
be there, sir.
Oh, I took 2 times, sorry. Just this only. Okay. So anyway, we now know the
Sir, then
reasons why
first we
the
have to
force is
check
this, and
which
we have learned some
magnetic.
other formula additionally. What is the formula we have learned? First, you have to check which magnetic.
First
What is
we
the
have to
component
check
of
which
magnetic field, which is?
magnetic field. Yes, sir. Produces perpendicular force, right, sir?
I think you do one thing here. One more thing I would add here now. I think I unnecessarily made the distinction. It is B perpendicular. It is also B perpendicular or not? Let's say it is B parallel. It is B parallel. If I take B perpendicular also external field here, then also I will be getting same only. Means there is no difference actually, because now I am noticing that if I write B parallel square plus B perpendicular square, that will be B net square. So finally, it is net B only. No need to think in terms of parallel component. It is net field. It is also net field. Okay.
But you told
Then
parallel force will not contribute to pressure, sir.
this is, yes. So pressure is equal to this net B we take for the pressure case. for finding perpendicular to plane force, not for parallel to plane force. Okay.
Then there B net will be B parallel only, no, sir. Net means again this component perpendicular component will produce a parallel force, no, sir. According to above derivation, sir, we
Wait,
didn't
b
take
dash
a
square, b dash square plus b square by 2 mu naught minus b square plus b perpendicular square by 2 mu naught. What is the difference in this equation and this equation? B perpendicular square added, B perpendicular square subtracted, same only, but it becomes B net square. Let us call it B2 square by 2 mu naught minus B1 square by 2 mu naught. That is perpendicular pressure.
understood.
P equals this.
Okay. So I mean to say that finally the force which is acting perpendicular to the plane, that depends on the net magnetic field on one side and net on the other side, and we don't care whether it is perpendicular or parallel. Although we can take it, we can say that it is also due to parallel. We can say it is also due to parallel, but this can be added, and if it is added, then we don't have to remember what is parallel, what is perpendicular. I don't have to even divide those magnetic fields into two components. So I will prefer this second formula because it is in terms of net field. Although this formula is also correct and this is also correct, but in this case I will first have to find out the component which is parallel. Why should I unnecessarily waste in time? Because I already know perpendicular component always remains same. That doesn't change. This is the main idea. Because the perpendicular component always remains same, then I can always add that perpendicular component in both these terms, and I can get always the net field, and I can get the pressure from that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. This is how we can do it. Next, some questions if you want from Pathfinder, we can take maybe.
Let's say second one.
Which one?
That
Second question, you're
Pathfinder.
see
Sir, not.
the solution. See the solution also once. Have you seen the solution or not?
Sir, when you are there, by solution.
That is true, but I mean to say, today only you started or before also you have started?
Today
you have
only.
started today only. Okay. A parallel plate capacitor consists of the square plates of h length A separated by distance d that is much smaller than the h length. It is charged to potential B and made to move with constant velocity directed at how much is the magnetic field inside the capacitor. See, if I take capacitor plate, one is positive charge, other is negative charge, and both are moving with some velocity v parallel to it. Then if it has total charge q and it has also q, what will be the current? Current will be nothing but q into v, because v is distance covered per unit. Q into v will not be current, but q by time will be current. Let me just see what is qv by L can be regarded as current. If I consider this as total length as L, then qv by L will be current, right or not? It
Yes,
is
sir.
square plates. It has square plates. Then current per unit length will be other side also. There will be, see, L is both sides. This is also L. This is also L. If I take L other side as well, then current per unit perpendicular length will become K, which will be equal to QV by L square, or just sigma into V. Sigma into V is equal to K. This we can remember also, this result, sigma into V is equal to K. And I think there was equivalent result before. J was equal to rho V. You remember that? J was rho V, K is sigma V. Rho is volumetric charge density and sigma is areal charge density. Okay. Understood now?
Understood.
Now, once we know K values, what is the K value for the lower one and the upper one? They will be not in same direction. Although velocity is in same direction, but positive current will be in that side, but negative current will go, it will send the current in other direction. So because it will become minus sigma into V. So definitely the direction of K below will be in opposite direction. So one K is sigma V along I cap, but other K will be sigma V along minus I cap. Let us call it K1. Let's call it as K2.
The magnetic field will be in same direction as.
In outside magnetic field will be cancelled. Outside both sides it will be cancelled, but inside it will be in the same direction. What is the direction of magnetic field now? If K is
Downwards.
in this side and magnetic field is parallel to the sheet, we know magnetic field is parallel to the sheet, so it will be in which side? It will be, I think, cross, right?
Yes, sir.
Cross or
sir.
not? It will be in
Cross.
cross direction, so it will be this side. This is magnetic field direction. Okay. First thing you should understand that it is not in this side, not in that side direction. Why? Because K is in that direction and magnetic field has to be perpendicular to K. So perpendicular to K, I have to check from two possibilities, either cross or dot. Out of these two possibilities, if I now use right hand thumb rule also, by assuming it to be a single wire, although it is not a single wire, it is a complete, means we can say big sheet, but I can assume like a single wire, and if I use that logic, then I will know that it is coming out to be in cross direction.
Cross.
If K is upwards. Similarly, if K is downwards, opposite side, then again it is coming out to be cross upwards here. They will add up. What is the formula then? Mu naught into K by 2 plus K by 2. That is becoming mu naught into K total. That is equal to mu naught into sigma V. That is the field inside. Mu naught sigma V is the field inside. What they are asking here?
The same,
that
sir.
how much magnet?
A will come, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
How? Okay, we can get sigma. Sigma is nothing but sigma is equal to charge upon area. Charge is equal to C into V upon area. C is equal to epsilon naught into area by D into V by L square. L square cancelled. Epsilon naught into V by D. Then we are getting mu naught into epsilon naught into V into small v by D. What is the answer? That only.
Yes, sir.
Getting answer. Okay. Next. This is also based on force only, I think. Can be asked this week, that's why. Number is made by fitting two particles at the ends of the thin rigid rod of length L. The particles carry unlike charges of equal modulus Q. The dumbbell is moving in the region of the space where uniform magnetic field induction B pointing everywhere in positive Z direction is present. At a particular instant, when the rod of the dumbbell makes an angle theta with positive x direction, it is rotating with angular velocity omega k, and its center is moving with v. C is equal to vx psi cap plus v y j cap. Find the net force on the dumbbell and the torque about the center of dumbbell at this instant. How to do? What is the charge on this? Minus q, and what is on that? Plus
Q,
q.
sir.
Is it translating or is it rotating?
Both, sir.
Translating plus rotating.
Yes, sir.
Then the force will be q v1 cross b plus minus, I can say, because the other is negative, minus q into v2 cross b. This is the net force. What is net torque? Net torque can be found by taking about which pass? About the center. So I can write torque is equal to q v1 cross b. V is in that plane or different plane? V cross b. Q
Which one,
v
sir?
cross b into this is L by 2. QV cross B into L by 2, because they are mutually perpendicular. Force is perpendicular to the L by 2, I think, because force will come out to be out of the plane. Right or not?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, minus QV2 cross B into L by 2. L by 2 will also be negative. L by 2 will also be with negative sign, right? Means the torque on this, if it is force is acting on one direction, then other will be acting in different direction, but L is also reversing its direction. So I think this will be finally, it seems
Both
added
will
up.
be either negative or either positive.
So these torques will be, means this will be added up, not subtracted.
Yes, sir.
Then we can write Q into L, which is like magnetic dipole moment into V1 plus V2 cross B. V1 plus V2 cross B. PV
Sir,
yes,
they have given torque in some variable terms.
variable terms.
I mean, tau is equals to minus QBL of Vx cos theta plus Vy sin theta k cap they have given. Found it. Found it.
Found it. How?
There I didn't see that they have given components also.
Components are given. Can you get V1 and V2 from this? V1 and V2 will be like this.
Omega
V1
into
will,
L.
omega into L, but that also I have to write with proper direction. What is the direction of omega?
Clockwise.
K cap. K cap means outwards, means this will be the velocity L by 2 into omega, and this will be the velocity L by 2 into omega. So with these velocities, I have to add these velocities. These are with respect to center of mass or center of charge. Center only, body center means geometric center. So if I take components of L by 2 omega, then it will be one component will be minus I cap, one will be along J cap, and direction will be, I think this is cos theta 91 theta cos theta along J cap. So I'm getting cos theta along J cap minus sin theta along I cap, and this one, this is theta only 91 theta again. L by 2 omega, I'm getting cos theta along minus J cap plus sin theta along I cap. Right or not? Then I can get the velocities from here. But one thing I have to be now here, because everything is in vector form, I have to write these also in vector form. I think torque should be written as R1 cross F1 plus R2 cross F2. This is also written in vector form only together answer. What is R1 vector? R1 vector will be L by 2 into cos theta I cap plus sin theta J cap. Use this. Okay. Somewhat
Okay.
lengthy, although somewhat lengthy, but we can do it easily if we split wisely into components properly, and we can get easy also. I think so. Somewhat not, it will not be that lengthy. So this I can
Sir,
write as VC plus.
Answer also very simple, sir.
Answer will be simple only at last. VC plus the other one is V1C, velocity of 1 with respect to C. That will be omega cross or maybe do in scalar, means everything we don't have to write in vectors unnecessarily. In scalars it will be easy. Torque we can form from where if we have to find out the torque. It is so simple. Okay. What is the contribution of towards torque due to these velocities? Q V cross B. How the force is acting? QV cross B. The force is acting in B is into the plane, B is this side, QV cross B will be this side. And what about this one? For it is negative charge, so negative charge means I will take this side. Then this side, if it is, then the force is again the same side only. So this in the center of mass frame, whatever velocity we are seeing, they are not contributing towards any torque. So torque is only because of which velocities? Translatory velocity only. We can directly analyze it. So if I have to find torque, I can simply get away with these values of V1 and V2, and I can simply write it as VC and VC only. Then I'm getting so easily Q into R1 plus minus Q into R2 minus Q into R2 cross VC cross B, which is nothing but the net dipole moment. You know, sigma QI RI is net dipole moment. It is dipole moment cross VC cross B, that is the torque. Very simple result at last. Extremely simple. Can we get it now? This is the answer in vector form. If you want to convert it into scalar, now you can convert it easily. You know what is the dipole moment direction? Dipole moment direction is this. What is angle theta? Then I can multiply this by cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap. VC also given to us. So we can get VC cross B. It will not be tough. And this net force is not because of the translatory motion, I think. Because of translatory motion, there will be no net force.
Contribution will
That
be
will
only
be
due
zero.
to rotational motion.
Contribution will. Therefore, in this case, we will do opposite. Here we will not take V1, V2. Here we will take only L by 2 omega, these terms, L by 2 omega terms only. That will be getting. And also one more thing, whatever force is acting on one, same will be acting on the other. So I can find out force only on the one and multiply it by 2. So it will be again simple. L by 2 into omega. And moreover, all are mutually perpendicular. Because all are mutually perpendicular, so we are getting Q into L by 2 into omega into B. That is a force multiplied by 2. So it is just QL into omega B. QL omega B is the force. Or Q into V relative into B, we can say. Q into V relative into B will be the force. Direction will be this side. So if I have to write into components, then I can dissolve into components also. What will be components? Cos theta along minus I cap and sin theta along minus j cap. What is the answer given? We can check now. Getting answer?
They have given positive.
What positive?
I mean, towards first quadrant, sir. F is.
Let me check then. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Omega is in which direction? Omega is along K cap. K cap means this side only. And anti-clockwise. Then velocity is right only. V cross B. B cross B. B is.
B will be up,
This is dot.
upward only, sir.
B is upwards. I was taking B downwards. So B is upwards, then obviously this force will be in positive direction only. No problem in that, right? Okay. Getting answer now?
Yes, sir.
See, this relation is so wonderful relation. Whenever some case of dipole is asked, we can always get in this simple way. Net torque. Next question.
Sir, time up.
Okay, then remaining you do yourself, and if you are having any doubt, you post, and also you can refer the solutions now if you are not getting answers. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Bye, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.